ever seen, and we've got to find a better way to start managing the people's money. It's not being managed at all right now.
You know, you're a good guy, Senator. Whatever you do, we wish you well. Senator George Lemieux in Florida.
Thank you, Neil.
Now to the Republican who is against earmarks, but not all earmarks. Louisiana Congressman John Fleming says pork is healthy, at least when it comes to our military. But Congressman, it's like that old analogy, you can't be a little bit pregnant. You're either completely pregnant or you're not, right? I mean, if you do the defense thing, then you're just as bought and paid for as anyone else, right?
Well, potentially. Neil, you know, earmarks have become emblematic of the wasteful spending in Washington. No question about that. However, there have been times in the past, plus-ups as we call them, in which, for instance, we up-armored Humvees in Iraq, which saved American lives. In my district, Highway I-49, we really are scrapping for the last dollars needed to complete it, which to me is a national priority. Having GPS systems to track nuclear weapons, which are also in my district.
Then if they're all so great, if they're all so great, and you mentioned a number of fine ventures and programs in their own right, then have them as separate pieces of legislation and not little tacky add-ons to stuff. It's such a big deal if it's so important, and you're right, the Air Force, Strike Fighter, and others are beneficiaries of such spending. But if they're also warranting that kind of attention, then they should be warranting a separate bill, a separate piece of legislation.
And I completely agree with you. That's why I voted for a moratorium on earmarks in the 111th Congress, and I'm going to support it in the 112th.
What's the moratorium? How long should it be?
Well, I think it should be until such time that we have a process in which we can be very comfortable, and the American people can be very comfortable, that earmarks or plus-ups or direct spending by members of Congress can be done in a very transparent way and properly vetted, and not for political benefit. So
no, I see your point, Congressman, and you make a very good point, as you always do. Here's my worry. Now, let's say there aren't a lot of guys out there like you, and they might just sort of assume, well, my vital program might be someone else's pork, but it's a vital program, vital initiative to me. So I think my earmark is better than your earmark. And then we have an earmark battle royale. To me, we should label them all the same. An earmark is an earmark is an earmark. They all stink.
Right. And the reverse of that is, I'll vote for your earmark if you'll vote for my earmark.
Exactly. And it becomes the chip to which you buy off votes for legislation you wouldn't otherwise buy.
Right. So I really think the burden should be on us as members of Congress to either come up with an acceptable way, a clearinghouse, if you will, to do this right, keeping only the national priorities, or we should do away with earmarks entirely.
All right. Congressman, thank you very much.
Great. Always a pleasure, Neil.
Fancy Nancy giving back the gavel, but trying to keep the crown. Only the serfs are getting restless, and the kingdom's at war.